The PTCAS application cycle from 2021 to 22 just opened up last month, and you just got access to this year's prompt for your personal statement. Now, as you're reading it, some of you might be like, I have no idea how the heck I'm supposed to write this. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 7 practical tips that you can implement today to make you stand out in your physical therapy school application so that your application and you as a whole will look irresistible. And make sure you watch this video all the way to the end to hear the 7th one, because in that tip, I'm going to show you how to sum everything up in a nice little bow so that you can have a memorable personal statement. So let's get into this. Lego. Hey everyone, what's going on? My name is Dr. Live for Change, Justin Lee, physical therapist. I'm a high-performing physical therapy school coach, and I help students get accepted into physical therapy school. And once you get accepted, I coach students to live abundantly and intentionally through the physical therapy school experience. So if any of that resonates with you, feel free to check out my other videos, comment below, or reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you. So the 2021 to 22 PTCAS application prompt for your personal statement asks you to answer this question. Every person has a story that has led them to a career. Since there are a variety of health professions that help others, please go beyond your initial interaction or experience with physical therapy and share the deeper story that has confirmed your decision to specifically pursue physical therapy as your career. So we're just gonna jump right into tip number 1. Make sure you're answering the prompt specifically and stay within the guidelines. So this prompt, I believe, has 2 things that you need to address. Number 1, it says that since there are a variety of healthcare professions that help, go beyond your initial interaction with physical therapy. So it's asking you to compare the different healthcare professions, right? So whether you wanted to be maybe a chiro or a physician assistant or an exercise physiologist, whatever it may be, why did you choose physical therapy? They want to know that reason. So you do want to address, hey, you know what? I thought about doing this, or I considered this, blah, 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 but I chose PT instead. Secondly, they are asking you, share the deeper story that has, and on the prompt it is bolded, so this is super important, that has confirmed your decision. Now, confirmed, let's look at that word. If we look up the definition confirmed, the definition states to make firm or firmer. That means you might have had an interest or maybe just a little idea of like, oh, that kind of looks cool about physical therapy. But what experience or what happened in your life to make it where it's like, yes, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So those 2 things need to be addressed in this year's prompt. Compare and what has confirmed. Secondly, make sure you stay within the guidelines. You're given 4,500 characters. Don't make the mistake of writing 4,500 words like I did, and then before it's due, I was like, oh my gosh, you gotta rechange everything. It's 4,500 characters, and my advice to you, try to use up as much as you can. Sure, you can get to the point as quickly as possible and you might write it in like 3,000 characters, but my advice to you is use up as much as possible. 4,500 is not a lot. It's about 1.5 pages of a single spaced essay. So make sure you use all of that. Okay, we're gonna go into number 2, and this kind of relates to the first part, the first tip that I mentioned, is to know your why. Now, I know this is cliche and I know you hear this all the time, but this is absolutely critical. Your why is your story. And if you don't have clarity in your story, you cannot communicate why you want to be a physical therapist. So what experiences in your life, what people in your life, what role models or what events has happened to confirm your decision to become a physical therapist. Now, think about this. Everything that they're asking in this prompt is literally asking, why do you want to be a PT? Why do you want to be a PT? So I really encourage you to dig deeper through all the things that has happened in your past. And it could be 1 event, 2 events, 5 events, whatever it may be, and try to relate it back to PT. You always want to keep that at the focus of your mind to answer that question. Why do you want to become a physical therapist? This is absolutely critical. Okay, tip number 3, share experiences and not just say that you're passionate. Now, a lot of times when I read personal statements or people tell me why they want to be a PT, they say, I'm passionate about physical therapy. I'm passionate about exercise. I'm passionate about health and wellness. And, that may be true and it might be true, but you got to showcase your experiences as to what led you to want to become a physical therapist, right? What can you communicate into words into your prompt as to what you did in your past, what mistakes you made, what have you learned, to eventually open your eyes to the world of physical therapy. So this is absolutely critical in making sure that you're portraying this. You got to make sure you share your past experiences and tell them. Don't be afraid to brag. This is your time. This is your personal statement. This is your resume. If you're trying to be humble and kind of leave things out because you're like, I don't know if they're gonna like this. Don't do that. Make sure you share all the related experiences in your life and show them. Write it down. Why? These are the reasons why I want to be a physical therapist. Okay. Number 4. Ooh, it's getting hot in here because these tips are fire. Okay, number 4. Dig deep with extracurriculars and how it relates to your physical therapy journey. Now, I know this kind of sounds redundant with sharing your experiences and not just say you're passionate, but I want you to know this. Every experience that you've had in your life, whether you've worked at McDonald's, worked at a yogurt shop, worked as a server, a busser, whatever it may be, can definitely be spun to why you want to be a PT. For example, I was a wildland firefighter. How does that relate to physical therapy? You better believe that being a wildland firefighter is impressive. So I really wanted to portray that area of my experiences. And I used the area of service, how wildland firefighters serve the community and help prevent further catastrophes by being preventative, to serve the community so that they can live a full life and a better quality of life, knowing that they're safe, knowing that someone that is a professional is around them, and someone that can build rapport with people. So this is how I spun my experience that is totally not related to physical therapy into becoming a physical therapist. And you can do this with anything. Maybe it's you as an athlete. Maybe it's you with customer service or dealing with people. Or maybe it's you just trying to learn a different language or learn a different art or a different skill. Whatever it may be, you want to find the common thread with all of those things. Dig deep with all your experiences and find the common thread as to why you want to be a PT. So this is my strategy for you here. Everything that you've done in your life, experiences, resume, work, history, all of that stuff, volunteer, write it down, make a list. Just write what you did or write your title. And then for every one of those titles, write the main thing that you've done and how that relates to physical therapy. Okay, number 5, be unapologetic about what you want. Now, you want to be a physical therapist. You want to get accepted into physical therapy school. You want to make a difference in this world. You want to help people, to advocate for people. You want to be a movement expert. and you want fill in the blank. Whatever that may be, portray that, communicate that. Make sure your reader knows what exactly your desires are and what your future plans are as a future physical therapist. Do not be afraid to talk about this. You know, readers love when you're vulnerable. Readers love when you share your story. You know, you're a unique person. Your fingerprint is unique to you, and your upbringing, your culture, your adversities that you've experienced all come together to create who you are and what you want as a future physical therapist. So make sure you're unapologetically bragging about those things. Okay, number 6. Now this is a pretty common tip, but a very important tip. It is to read your essay out loud and revise. I remember when I was writing my personal statement, I had to revise it probably about 5 to 7 times. I've asked 3 different people to look at my essay and ask for their opinion, ask for their corrections, ask if my flow was good, because, you know, someone else's perspective is going to be different from yours, and you should be vulnerable and accepting of that. You know, it's super scary for someone to read your thoughts, your emotions, something that you write. It's just like being on video. It's super scary because you're in a vulnerable position. But what's gonna hurt you more? Your pride and your ego and saying, nah, I got this. Or you putting that aside and accepting that other people might have a point of view that is different than yours and maybe more constructive or better. So making sure that you get revisions in over and over again is gonna be critical. If you're at a university, you probably have a writing center. Use that writing center. It's usually free. Have the professional writer read it and make some corrections. And then I mentioned reading out loud. There is something about reading something out loud and listening to it that makes the flow of your essay better, makes it where you're like, oh, you know what? I don't want to use that word, or that sentence structure sounds a little funky. Read it out loud, right? If you can, double bonus, ask someone else to read it out loud for you, a family member, whatever it may be. Or what you can do, record a video. All of y'all got a phone, right? So record yourself. It doesn't matter if your face is on there. You can just have it mute or whatever, or have it like face down. But just hearing yourself and hearing the words that you have on that paper is going to be super beneficial. And I know that you are gonna benefit from this. Now, before we get into the last tip, I would really appreciate it if you have liked all these tips so far for this year's personal statement cycle, or for the PTCast cycle. I appreciate it if you give this video a like, and please help me subscribe, and please help me and subscribe to this channel. I'm so close to hitting 10,000 subscribers, and it was my goal to hit this in the middle of summer, and we are approaching the middle of summer pretty soon. So I'd appreciate it if you subscribe if you're new, and if you have been here for a while, hit those notification bells so you don't miss a video when it drops. And if you want to go above and beyond, I'd appreciate it if you share this video to other physical therapy students who are applying this year's cycle. Okay, last but not least, the 7th tip. Now this one, like I mentioned, is a perfect way to write your conclusion on your essay so that it goes into a nice little bow, presentable bow, and then you deliver it nice and good so that when they get it and read it to the end, they go, I feel good. This is a great essay. So this is the last tip. In your final paragraph, you might have mentioned this before in your essay, but you want to reiterate, maybe in different words, with what you want. You want to be a physical therapist, or you want to get accepted into physical therapy school. Who you want to become. You want to be a physical therapist, or you want to be a difference maker. You want to be a community advocate, right? And how getting accepted into physical therapy school is going to get you there. So for example, when I wrote my essay and talked about all my different things, what I mentioned was that I said who you want to become and how PT school will get you there. I mentioned that with what I want is I want to get accepted into PT school so that I can make a difference in my community, so that when I work as a personal trainer, I will have more education to serve my clients and my patients even more to a greater degree, and so that I can build relationships and actually make a difference in people's lives and improve their quality of life. So please accept me in PT school. No, I didn't say that. Don't say any of that, okay? So here are some good and practical tips that I mentioned in this video. Once again, if you liked all 7 of these tips, or maybe even one of them, give this video a like, and I'd love to hear from you. If you have any comments or if any of these really resonated with you, please feel free to comment below. I hope this video helped inspire you to really gain some tips to write your PTCast personal statement today, and to make sure that your essay stands out and leaves a memorable mark into the reader's eyes. Guys, I'm so thankful for you and I appreciate all your time. If you're having trouble trying to get into physical therapy school, I do have an online course that teaches you everything you need to know to get accepted into PT school. And if you need some additional help writing your personal statements, some revisions, I can be a part of that. I do have that service as well, so feel free to email me, liftforchange@gmail.com, and we'll get in touch. All right, you guys, every day is a great day to lift weights, lift others, and lift yourself up. Stay lifting, stay aloha. God bless. Have a great one.